Hi, welcome to Tea Time with Amy and Bev.
Good day.
Hello, hello. We had to just take a moment before recording to just kind of bring ourselves present, take a breath. We have very fulfilling schedules. Sometimes things pop up that's kind of out of our control, and we navigate life as we will and as we can, and the best that we can in the moment. And sometimes that brings up feeling frazzled and our world rocked. It just depends on the intensity of what's happening. I know I have a fulfilling schedule. I choose to use the word fulfilling instead of saying I'm busy, because to me, that has a heavier energy to it. So I have a very fulfilling schedule. Bev and I have kind of had to cut back to about 30 to 45 minutes for our videos because we have so much going on, but we still want to show up for each other and for our audience. So we just had to take a breath, and then we hit record, and then we're going to show up in our best way that we can for you in this recording. And here we are. So what do you got to say about that, Bev? Or anything else? You don't even have to talk about that. Anything else?
Anything else? We have my house husband, my boyfriend, my whatever you want to call him. He's very important to me, but we have family in town, which is his sister, and it's freaking awesome. It's his sister, her daughter, and then her daughter. So there's a different dynamics that I've been able to witness, and it's refreshing. It's awesome. So it's like there's such an opportunity every time, and even if we sometimes sit back and say, "Oh, that's not so awesome," there's still an opportunity to be gained from everything that we're experiencing. It's like we've talked about, it's not happening to us, it's happening for us.
Right.
So, and I've had these experiences, and I love the littles anyways. I just always get along good with the kids because I'm a kid at heart, which was funny because we were outside. I had been playing, I just had met the little one. She's 3. And we are outside playing, and I went and, let her do her own thing. And I went to go do my own thing. And she's like, "Hey, mom, where's that little girl at?" And so she was talking about me because she
Oh,
was referring to me. So it's interesting to find out, a perspective from a child's,
yeah.
how they're perceiving things, how they're receiving the energies. So it's awesome. So I know in that very moment, I was a little girl.
Nice. Even
So
though
that
you're
was
just
awesome.
like this big person too, right? Because she's
Yeah.
3. So physically, the perspective from a little person looking up to an adult or seeing an adult, like we look like giants. And
Yeah.
to for her to recognize, to acknowledge or recognize in you that little girl, that's amazing. I have not ever heard that either from a child.
I never had either. That was the first time. And I thought, well, and you're right. But it's like, as long as we're down at their level, it's different. It's not the same. And then because they get to perceive things differently. Because if you think about it, when you're smaller or you're a child, it's like everybody above you is almost intimidating a bit, or can be. And she's not that way. And then she tells me all the time, "Miss Beth, I love you."
Aw.
So it's so sweet, right? She's just the sweet. It's just nice to be around these type of energies.
And it's different, it's new, it's fresh, right? Because
Yeah.
you have your same circle you're usually around every
Yeah.
day or every week. And then to have somebody, is this the first time you've met them?
Yes.
Yeah. So to have that fresh energy coming in with no expectation, I would imagine. I mean,
No,
no ex
because I had no idea.
and
I
then
love Freeman, so I figure I'd love them too. So
yeah, and just having this opportunity to interact, and you're showing up in your best possible form in that moment too. And that looks different. We talked about this last week, and we don't have to go on that tangent, but the way you show up in your best possible form now with this little and the family members is way different than years past, or even a year ago or 10 years ago, right? So um and then just being able to acknowledge that in yourself of how this this little is um feeling your energy and your playfulness and your kindness and your presence, being at her level, being able to look at her eye to eye, and just being engaged. So I think that's just amazing. I think that's awesome.
It really is. And it helped me see a lot of things because for me, my whole life, I've always been like defensive, guarded, had to have my own back, being all that protected and all that energy that my responses even to my mom, if they would have asked me to do something, would have been negative. It was always negative. I don't think I ever did anything positive, really. Honestly, when I look at a lot of those behaviors, but it's like I don't beat myself up for it because I'm recognizing I learned that from somewhere and you don't know that something's doesn't have to be in your experience anymore until you experience something else.
Yeah.
So that's why we don't want to lock ourselves in our house and not have experiences because those experiences, well, however we perceive them, whether they're good or bad, there's something to them. There's something that we grow from. So I've gotten to watch a mom, a daughter, and a daughter, like how all of them react with each other and how they all have conversations with each other, and it's different. So it's like when mom asks her daughter to do something, it's just matter of fact, or it's just the conversation's so different, the energy is different. So I'll go back to the energy. We tell our kids or we talk to people, doesn't even have to be our children, but we talk to them about all these other things, but we're not really, we've got a feeling that's underlying all that. And it's like half the time we don't even pay attention to what that feeling is or those feelings are. And so to me, this has helped me kind of take a look at some of those things. And how do I take a template that I'm experiencing now and lay it over or overlay it over my current experiences? It's it's gave me a different asking. So when I'm seeing the behavior, I'm like, God, I want to feel this all the time. And when I see the animated excitement from the little all the way up, from little to mom all the way up, right? It's like that's always been there. So it's like for me, I was always like quashing those feelings or not allowing myself to feel those feelings, and certainly never allowing those feelings to be seen by anybody else.
Right.
Because then they had something they could take away from me or push my buttons or do something to pick on me or whatever. And I was picked on a lot, not by people in school as much as maybe my stepdad thinking he was being playful, but for me, from my perspective, right, I thought it just was picking all the time, picking. So it's it's made me see things a lot differently.
Yeah.
But also remembering we have to honor ourselves, and it's like we talk about this all the time because I don't always hear it, so I have to talk about it again. So maybe I'll hear it the next time. And I have not been honoring myself. So by the time last night rolled around, I was tired. And I had, was getting stuff done. And it's like, then my spine started, like my low back, way like low back started bothering me. And next thing you know, it seemed like my spine was inflamed. And what was that? It's like I stopped for a minute to start paying attention to, because it was a whole thing. It went from one area up to another area, and then I just laid there and relaxed and kind of laid into the space and was like, okay, what's going on here? And I feel better this morning. So
Nice.
it's just interesting. You just have to honor self. It's just taking that time. And our body gets the signs and the symptoms get a little bit louder and louder and louder until we listen.
Yeah. And I totally agree with you as far as that, because having, like I mentioned earlier, a fulfilling schedule, um, I've been on the go a lot, and remembering, okay, stop and breathe, or set an alarm on my phone, get up and move your body, like get up and walk away from your desk, or get up and go outside and get a breath of fresh air, or when your body's like, hey, you gotta pee, and then I sit there and sit there and sit there and sit, and I'm like, oh God, I gotta go pee, right? It's like, don't wait till that. So one of my things is, especially I've seen it at work, like the walk to the bathroom, I can't wait till the last minute. Let's put it that way. It's quite the walk. And um but when I'm sitting there and I'm in that creative flow and I'm just, things are rolling and I'm doing my work, and it's like, oh, I'll just get this one more thing done, and then something else comes up, or you get interrupted, and then you're having a conversation or thing. So it's being more mindful of that. And also just making sure that I do have some, I don't really want to call it downtime, but some time where I can just basically just kind of sit and not think about all the things, and just, I it's not really me time, but like my husband's sitting there and we're just chilling. So just some, I guess, just some downtime, It's really important for me to have that. And that doesn't mean that I need to be meditating or journaling, like seriously, like not doing anything but sitting there.
It's true. I understand that conversation because that's important.
Yeah. Because I've had about like a lot of stuff coming up, and I mean, I just want to hit on back in the day when I did not feel supported whatsoever, only because that was my perspective and I wasn't allowing myself to be supported. I had back um, discomfort for a long, long time until I recognized that there was two things going on. I wasn't feeling emotionally supported, and then also I wasn't feeling financially supported. And again, it was just because of my perspective and the way I was viewing the world and all the things. And so when my back starts bothering me, boy, do I stop and think, where am I not feeling supported, and how am I going to change this right now? And it's like real quick, because that is such an uncomfortable sensation, and I don't want to be sitting in that mess, for myself. So just having that acknowledgement right away, because I absolutely know that to be true for myself, that when my back is uncomfortable, I know it's because I'm viewing my world as not being supported in some way. And that's not, it's the furthest from the truth. That's just my story that I conjure up in my head. And recognizing, how am I being supported, and then I start thinking about all the ways that I'm supported, and it's almost an immediate release. And it's amazing how powerful we are with our thoughts and our emotions that affect us physically.
Well, that's just another sign of our masterful manifestational skills.
No kidding. It's
But
true.
it really is. It really is, and it really is.
Yeah.
It's that powerful. That's really what it's letting us know, right?
Yeah.
Because as far as being supported, I couldn't think of anything. I mean, God, I feel so. I am very supported. But I guess that would be more of a mindset, anyways. Because I'm trying was when you were saying that, because I understand that conversation. I've understood that to be part of mine. It's like then I'm sitting here when you're saying that, thinking, how do I feel like I'm not being supported, and I can't find any good reason. So it's probably it probably has a lot to do with how I'm supporting myself. Honestly,
Yeah. Yeah.
it
But
has to do with yeah. It's not because I'll tell you, breakfast is made, sheets are clean, like everything's taken care of.
yeah.
Everything's always taken care of. So I'm very lucky as far as all that goes.
And
I
it
really
could
am.
it could be cut, just come back to what you were saying earlier, not taking the time for yourself, and just
Exactly.
not supporting
And
you.
yeah,
Yeah. And
it's
I do
just,
that too.
yeah,
I sort of throw that out there. I'm not innocent of that. I have those experiences too.
it has some stuff on it, you know? It's a fastball sometimes, right? I don't know. That's what makes me think of baseball, but it is. It's like a fastball. It's just kind of coming at you fast, and
Yeah.
you just are prepared to, you just grab it all of a sudden.
Yeah.
So, yeah,
And so, some people thrive on
uh,
the busyness and the time constraints and the deadlines and all the things. Some people thrive on that. Some people thrive on being challenged. And um, I, you got to recognize, where do you lie? And I know if I am like on the go, constant, and just go, 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 I will have a tendency to just drop, like just be done. And then when I start feeling that way, I will start feeling some resentment, and like these negative, what we call negative emotions, start coming in. And then I'm like, whoa, 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 time out. First of all, you said yes to this, so take responsibility for your own involvement in saying yes, you will do this, right? So this is a conversation with myself. And and then, second of all, you didn't say no. You didn't create a boundary for yourself. You jumped in and said, oh, I'll do it. Right, for whatever reason that was. So I start going down the list. Where am I going to take responsibility for all of this that is happening? And then also the other thing is my energy. So once you start going down that lane of, oh my God, I have so much to do. Oh my God, there's so much to do. Oh my gosh. And you just stay in that energy that you're too busy, you have too much to do, there's too many commitments, there's all these things. Well, now that's an energy that I would be putting out. And so what's going to happen? More stuff is going to be happening where people are like, hey, Amy, can you do this? Hey, Amy, I need this. Oh, can you do it? Right. And so it's just more and more starts coming because of the energetic match to that. And so I've been sharing this for a while, that the statement, when I start feeling like I have quote unquote too much to do, or things are getting kind of out of hand, like so much going on. Okay, bring it back in. I have all the time, space, and energy I need to complete the tasks that need my attention today, or in this moment, or right. Just to remember, I create the space that I need to get my things done. And here's something I experienced just yesterday at work was there's this like little project. It's not a huge project. It's actually a small project, but it takes quite a bit of time. And I wanted to get that done so that we had it for a Friday evening event that we had. And it was like 2:00. And I told my boss, I said, listen, I I am hoping to get this done for tonight. I don't know if I'm gonna be able to get it done, but I'm diligently working on it. And she just looked at me and she said, if you get it done, great. If you don't get it done, it's okay. And I knew that she would feel that way, but it was a relief that she said it. But I was also being honest, like, I'm working on it, but I don't know if I'm gonna get it done. Now, back in the day, so I mention this quite frequently, that I compare myself to me. So back in the day, I would have been a basket case about not getting it done because of people pleasing and perfectionism. And I would have been a mess. I probably would have been almost to tears if I was in that space of thinking, I'm not going to get this done. I would have been first angry and then cried. No joke. And then now being in a space where somebody says, if you don't get it done, it's okay. It was just like,
And then even still being able to walk away from it when someone tells you it's okay to walk away from it. Do you know what I mean?
yeah,
Because it's a different space too. Because everything you've said, I've been there, done that, right? Done the same exact things, same exact emotions, trying to push ourselves beyond. We're human, we're not human, but we're having a human experience right now. So, and then we're still having our expectations of our, the bigger portion of us to be running the show in a lot of ways, and we've been limited because now we have to use these bodies.
yeah,
I say limited, but that we have to use these bodies. But on the other side of that, I've heard conversations like I think Suzanne Giesman's talked about, talking to spirit, and spirit misses the actual being in the body, being able to sense and touch things and feel things the way they did while they were in the physical body while they were here. So that's just a different perspective on things. Because it's, we can say, oh, we're being punished to be here and stuff like that. And I don't believe that we are. Even amongst the stuff that I've experienced, it hasn't always been that great, but I don't think it was a punishment. And I even hear other people thinking that they're still being I don't know if I want to refer to it as being tested, because I don't really think the universe tests us. I think that there's experiences that come up, and that maybe they're coming up because we haven't completely grown from them yet. That's the only reason they're showing up. We haven't become completely neutral to it to allow it to fall away.
yeah. I call it because I used to say that, oh, your universe is testing me, see how well I'm doing. Now I call it, oh, it's giving me an opportunity to check in with myself.
Yeah. Oh, my gauges are going crazy right now. I need to see what's going on here.
Yeah. So those check-ins show up with the physical sensations of discomfort. Oh, how am I viewing my world right now? The check-in is, what am I attracting? If I'm attracting a lot of negative people, what's going on within me? If I'm attracting negative type conversations, what am I thinking about? Um, uh, am I attracting, you know, like things are breaking down and I'm having to fork out money after money after money? Am I in a lack mentality that I don't have enough? Right. So it's always an opportunity for me to check in with me mentally, emotionally, physically, and spiritually of where I'm at with my thoughts, words, and emotions and my spiritual connection. So complete check-in with myself.
Yeah. Which is it. It's that we've talked about this stuff a lot though. And it's like when we start having the experiences, like this whole Mercury in retrograde started, I think April 1st.
There's
And
so
it's like
much
I've had,
going on right now.
I feel like I've been on a roller. What'd you just say?
I said there's so much going on right now with
It really is. It's like a roller coaster ride in a lot of ways. It's like there's super highs and then there's like, and then there's super highs and there's like, and so when I get into those moments, I'm really lately a bit, I had a couple of clients just recently and we always get along great, but it's like there was an abrasiveness between our two energies and not more than one person. And I know it's not just them, it's partially me. And I know that we're coming together for a reason. But before I would have said something or been sharp about things, and it's like I just and quieted down and didn't say anything outside of myself because I also have been having readings done and seeing these. And when I say I'm having readings done, I'm just doing random if I'm drawn to a Taurus reading because I'm a Taurian, but I'm not really a Taurian. It's just something that it gives me navigational skills right now, really. But this person I listen to does talk about a lot of the astrological stuff that's going on and how it's affecting us. And to remember on these days, and I didn't look up the specific days, I didn't write them down, but it gave me an awareness that these days are coming up, these moments are happening. So for me not to get wrapped up in it, not to have a reaction to it, and that which is not always so easy. If I catch it early, it's great because, but it's also recognizing I don't want to have a reaction with people around me. I don't want to, because I love the people that are around me. I love them. So why would I want to have a reaction? So it just makes me go with inside and I start checking in with myself. Oh, why am I feeling this way? Right. Well, isn't that interesting that you're feeling that way right now? Is this you? Now you just felt the same way as the last person that was in here. So I'm like having a dialogue and a conversation that I'm kind of like the same thing. I'm looking at my navigational, I'm looking at my tool. It's almost as if we could wake up in the morning and then recognize, oh, just getting into my suit. Okay, stretch a little bit. Okay, there's a little bit of something going on in the back, in the spinal region. Just checking in with self, and then knowing that it's like we don't have to stay in that space. It's just a matter of having an awareness of it, and then moving through it, and then asking what it's about or what messages it's bringing. And I know all that sounds kind of crazy to a lot of people. Because for me, for the longest time, it did, and it's like I would hear even during the spiritual process, I'm hearing all this stuff, and it's like whatever. Some days it was easier to understand it, and some days are like this is a bunch of bullshit. But it's not for me now because I recognize that. But it's recognizing how I can shift my mood so easily, and it's just being an awareness of that. And if we can be aware that like our suit that we're in right now, if we just could view it like stepping into the cockpit of a ship or an airplane, a jet, whatever you want to be in right now, and then recognizing, okay, got to look at all these things, like really checking in with your equipment before you decide to get up out of bed and go do the day. But you can still set yourself up, right? That's where the setting your intentions the night before. But I could do all this stuff. I could imagine that, okay, I'm checking my ship. Okay, everything's turned down. I'm turning the lights are off. Body's quieted down. Okay, and we're gonna go ahead and step out of this and go do our own thing in the middle of the night. And then when I come in the morning, I'm gonna come back into it with whatever tool. Maybe I got a great night's sleep, and so now I'm bringing that energy into that suit, which then takes me to the next thing. Sometimes we say yes because we've had a good night's sleep that night. And then later on, we actually don't have the sleep anymore. It's like, why in the hell? Like, what was I thinking when I said yes?
right. I'm kind of in
That
the
moment,
spot with something I just agreed to do, and I'm like, wait, what?
I understand.
It's a year-long commitment. So
Oh God.
but I know a lot of growth is personal growth is gonna, and it just contributes to even amplifying my self-confidence. And so I have a year, well, it's actually a couple year commitment, but anyway, it's going to build on as I go. It's going to build. And so I get to This is going to give me the opportunity to really hone in on the tools that I have to be the creator and manifester of amazing stuff. And so that's my focus. I mean, I think it's going to be cool to see how it unfolds. So
I agree.
holding that perspective is super
Yeah.
important right now, that focus.
Yeah. And because you're getting, there's something that's coming from it for you. Do you know what I mean? Just like, what if you would have said no? What if I would have said no to family? Then I missed that whole opportunity, right? There was an opportunity of growth that I could never have experienced otherwise. I don't believe I could have. That's probably not even true. It had probably shown up another way, but not to have it so intimately, so close, and to be able to watch it and just laugh and just appreciate every moment of it.
Yeah.
So, and it's just like for you, it's the same thing. Even though we get tired and stuff like that, there's so much, we're gaining so much.
Yes. And I'm a firm believer. So, I'm just throwing this out there. If it doesn't resonate with you, it's okay. But I'm a firm believer that, whatever we create here now in this lifetime and past lifetimes, what we've healed now and for past, it affects past lifetimes, but it's also carried forward into other lifetimes. And so I'm like, we're always creating, always creating. And so whatever I'm creating now is moving into or will move into that next lifetime. So I'm like, well, if I manage to get this far in this lifetime, because I can imagine my like what this lifetime has been like and how far I've come in really in a short amount of time. And to think what previous lifetimes could have been like based on that time frame, right? And that belief systems and the programming and all that and those timelines, like I've come so far in this life in my healing process that how much better could the next one be? Right. And so I'm just like, okay. And it doesn't matter if it never happens. It doesn't matter to me if it's not even real that we don't have other lifetime. I believe we do.
Yeah.
But it doesn't matter because really what my goal is to be and do better in myself in each moment, in each day. And if I am doing that for myself, then my life just keeps getting better and better and better in this lifetime. And I don't know how much time I have on this planet in this lifetime. But why wouldn't it make more sense to have a goal to make it even better instead of sifting and stirring in the shit that you've been living with for so long? It's like, I don't want to do that. I want it to be better and better and better and better, which means I have to get better and better and better, which means I have to be mindful of what I'm thinking about, what I'm talking about, how I'm feeling, and my spiritual connection. All of that matters. It's a whole package.
I agree. And I agree with what you said. And I also agree that I feel like we have influence over everything. All of our selves have influence over everything. And it's like, and if you can become one with self, you become one with all of yourselves. And it's not just all of yourselves, then you're one with everybody else too. And everything changes. And then you have access to even more information because it's not limited. Otherwise, it's limited. I'll look at it. I have a picture of myself because I like my teeth, the way my smile was. I liked the way my skin looked. I liked the way my energy felt in the picture. So I'll look at it and I'm like, I'm, you're waking up right now. Where you're at right now, you're awake. You're awake with all this information that I already have right now. I know that. And when I'm telling you this, I have goosebumps down the front of my body. I feel emotional about it. And so for me, I know this to be true. I know that this is what resonates with me. It doesn't mean it resonates with everybody because we're all individuals and we all have our own experiences. And thank you. Thank you for having individuality, honestly, because we were talking about that this morning. It'd be so boring if we were all the same. It would.
Yeah.
We would do the same thing and then we'd be wondering what we're missing. Probably, or maybe we would just be happy in that not knowing. I don't know.
And
The
that
same old thing.
and all the people on the planet with all the different personalities and belief systems and programming and all the things, they all give us an opportunity to check in with ourselves on so many levels.
They do. And I do, you say that, but I feel like I'm doing it so much all the time these days. Like, cause I'll catch myself even almost wanting to say something like, well, that's not true, but it's like, what does it matter? Why do I have to say, I don't have to say anything. I don't have to participate in that energy. I don't have to feel that way. And not to say that I was participating in that energy anyways. It was just how I catch myself, how I'm feeling. And I feel like there's that defensiveness again, or there's that, you got to be right, or you've got to know everything, or whatever. But I'm recognizing, just because I'm taking the time to have an awareness of myself, just to take the time to even listen to your thoughts. And it wasn't overnight. I wasn't doing this overnight. And someone planted the seed, probably you planted the seed for, for this stuff to happening, because we've just talked about so much of this stuff all the time, that it was already happening. It just wasn't happening. If I was focusing on it, maybe it wasn't happening to the speed that I would have liked it to.
Yeah.
But it was divinely working. I mean, there was nothing, there was no restrictions. It was exactly where it was supposed to be. And we were talking about that last night too, just enjoying the journey where we're at right now to the next part of the journey, because it's all a journey.
All right.
It's like we want to like wipe out parts of our lives and stuff like that. And it's like the journey, it took a journey to get to where we're at right now in this human experience. I
Yeah.
don't want to wipe it all out.
Yes.
I don't want to wipe it all out. I guess before I felt like I would want to wipe a lot of it out. And it's like, I don't want to wipe it out. I gained a lot of information from that.
Yeah.
I gained a lot of, I don't want that, I want this.
Absolutely. Yes, yes, and yes.
Yes.
It's it is a journey. It one of the things that a mentor of mine reminds us of is, and even Abraham, Esther Hicks, Abraham, talks about, you're never going to get it done. So it's just the journey. It's the journey of being creative, and then watching that creativity unfold. And then where does that lead? What comes next after that, as far as who are you attracting into your life during the creative process? And then where does that lead? And where does that connection take you? And what does that experience bring up for you? Is it more healing? Is it more joy? It could be neutral. Like, if we're just constantly creating, and the things that we are creating actually are affecting other people. You could be just being an example for somebody, not even having a conversation. Like, people are watching me that I will see people in public, and I'll introduce myself, and they'll even just overhear who I am, and they're like, "Oh, are you Amy Wade on the Tea Time podcast?" Or, "Oh, are you Amy Wade that taught this class or spoke here?" And I'm like, people are watching. So just being an example from a distance, when you're in your creative, actually all the time, but just using that creative flow as an example, maybe you're just being an example for somebody, and that's going to affect their life, and you may never ever know it. They will never introduce themselves, they'll never tell you their story, but because you did something that influenced the way they were thinking, to help shift something, to help spark something, like, it affected them, and you may never know it, but it was very valuable to them. And that's why, it's another reason why it's so important for me to just keep being and doing better in myself, because I know people are watching. I'm influencing people I don't even know, and that to me matters. So I would much rather be a positive influence than the person I used to be. Let's put it that way, which wasn't so great.
It just reminds me, like, where do we want to be at when we're having our life review? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
How do we show up? That's how you showed up. That's how you know.
Yeah.
Because, like, even though we may not know from this perspective, but from another perspective, from our spiritual perspective, once we're no longer in this physical body, having that review, then you see how it affected things.
Yeah.
So maybe from here, from an ego side, we might want to know some of that stuff, but from another side, I think we want to know, I guess, maybe how was the experience? Because you hear all these people talking about, like, especially when they have these near-death experiences, and how they go in and just the remorse they feel and the expectation, right? Even the expectation for everything bad, like God sitting in front of you with this big freaking long scroll, and it's like all the stuff that I did wrong. And it's like it gets to the other page, and there's like a paragraph of the stuff that I did right, right? That's what for me, that's how it has felt for most of my life, but realizing that's not true. It's not true. That's just what we've focused on. And it's so what do we want to focus on? Well, like you were saying, I want to show up and do and be the best version of myself. I didn't want to be when I was growing up that way. Not I don't know where that went awry or sideways, but it did. But here I am now and recognizing that there's so much to change, and I do know that we can change a lot of our past just by how we feel about it, just by what we feel about it, what we're putting out about it. And I'll go back to the picture, just seeing the picture. What if I wasn't in a great space in that day? I could still make it a great space in that day. I can imagine what I was thinking that day. And then our imagination is our creativity. It's everything. It's
Yeah.
everything. Like there's no limits. Be playful about it. We just get so caught up in like that's being immature or that's childlike or that's daydreaming that we think that it's all wrong, but it's not wrong. That's our creativity and our work. I feel like life would be very boring without our creativity.
I want to say something about that because it actually kept me awake the other night, in a good way. So the my husband texts me, he's like, I got a Powerball ticket. And I said, okay. I had no idea what Powerball was up to. I don't keep track of that until, like the buzz starts happening. They're like, oh, it's up to this, right? So anyway, um, I went to bed and I was laying there and I got so much excitement in me about what I would do with some of the funds if I were to win a large amount of money, not necessarily the Powerball, but if I was to win a large amount of money. And I tell you what, I was thinking about uh like a healing center, having, the healing modalities, the holistic healing modalities, having rooms where, I'm not kidding you, I have a handful of women around me right now that are like, oh my God, they won't, it's relationship issues. They won't leave because of financial reasons and all the things. And they don't think they could survive by themselves. So I was like, oh, I'd create some like a motel hotel type place where they could just have a transition period till they could get on their feet and then go out, on their own, and having a like self-sufficient a guard. Like I was building this whole community in my head with all this money that I got. And I was so excited I couldn't go to sleep. And it was so fun though.
Yeah, that's awesome. I
So
love it.
put that out in the world, and people can go start building these communities for people so anyway, I mean, I had a Reiki room, like the large, where you can do Reiki shares and classes, and the musical instruments of, sound bowls and tuning for, like, I had all this stuff going on, and it was just so fun laying there just thinking about it and creating it in my imagination. And then the excitement kept me awake. It took me a while to go to sleep, and it was just fun.
That's awesome. It's so funny that you say all that because a couple of years ago I was making a place that was like that, and it had all these rooms, but it had one huge area that had a stage and stuff like that, but it had other smaller intimate spaces. But there were so many other rooms, and of course it had to be soundproof. And it's like gosh, there's so many different modalities that are out there these days to help people to assist them, and then I know that works.
Yeah.
So it's like it goes along right along with what you're saying too. But it's huge, and for me, I was thinking about it being out kind of like where I'm at, and then having a huge area, and then a huge outdoor area with growing of foods and flowers and fruits and all that kind of stuff. So yeah, it's interesting
And
because it's
with that,
all part of it's a
oh,
community thing, right?
yeah, with that was then, to help teach the residents about business and stuff, to actually have like a farmer's market and treat it as a business, and having, keeping track of the financials and all the things, and just and then having like, having the kitchen to where you can have from the garden to the kitchen, and having people cooking, and if that's their, joy. And so it was just this kind of a flow thing of
I love
kind of
it.
being self-sufficient, but also a learning and growing experience, having classes of coming home to yourself, all the things that we talk about. Just it was just a huge, like I literally was laying there for quite a while thinking about all this, and it was just so fun.
That's awesome. We could probably make a whole nother recording, probably a few hours of that. Because
Right?
it's like I'm thinking, well, yeah, then we'll add a space for kids and blah blah blah, and for them to be able to explore and be around animals and
Right.
planting things and be in the dirt, all these good things
Yeah.
that go along that's part of the grounding part, especially when we're younger like that. That I mean, it's not especially when we're younger, but it's important when we're younger and as we age in these bodies, as these bodies age, I guess,
Yeah.
is to be in that space of honoring all that and being outside and enjoying it. But it's so important too when you're a kid because you're in those first chakras, right? Being grounded and all that stuff. So you're in that space. And the more we can be in that space, gosh, the more beneficial your children are, that they're more calm, they're not reactive, they're just more facilitating peace and then kind of guiding other people around too, just so gently. And
Yeah.
I think that's the way it could be. But yeah, we could go crazy with that. Because my mind likes thinking about it now too, walking into the space and
I know. And then,
yeah,
well, my dilemma is, and we're gonna have to wrap this up. But my dilemma
yeah,
was, well, if we create such an amazing community, nobody'd ever want to leave. When the idea is to have it as like a transitional space for people to grow and then go out into the world, and I'm like, well, then people will just want to stay because it's going to be so incredibly amazing, the energy and the connection and everything. So there's that. And we just have to get property and build more. So I guess.
tell them they need to go out and create more. Take this to your hometown.
Yeah,
Take this to wherever you're going to be at. Create it from your own house. It's like, and we're talking about all this stuff like it's like a big, huge undertaking, but really it starts in our own living rooms.
right.
It starts right there. It doesn't have to be a big space. It's just getting together and just doing like we do,
Yeah.
having the conversations, having different perspectives,
Yep.
allowing for our growth, allowing us to feel excitement. Good Lord.
Seriously. All right, friends.
Good talk.
So Bev's been playing in the dirt with the littles. I get to go do some laughter yoga with some uh 8th through 12th graders. So that's where I'm gonna go to do some
Awesome.
playfulness and bring some lightheartedness into their space. And there will be adult women there, so they get to experience it as well. So having the opportunity to share in some joy with a group of people this morning or actually it's this afternoon, but got things to lead up to that. And it just being able to contribute in that way is, so I'm starting to get emotional because that means so much to me right now. So, whoo, that was great.
But it's an awesome demonstration of knowing that you're on your path, knowing that you're on the path
Oh
that's
man.
meant for you. Yeah, it's awesome. Thanks for showing up, Amy.
Oh, you're welcome.
Awesome. It's awesome.
Yeah, it's so funny, like just being in that space of joy and fun and playful, and then all of a sudden, man, you just you hit that heart center with the love and the other energies of joy in a different way, and how that emotion comes up because it's so meaningful. Only because, again, coming back to comparing myself now to where I was, and that's the meaning of it for me. So people who don't know me from 30, 40 years ago to who I am today. They don't understand that. They don't understand that meaningfulness of my journey and the comparison of myself.
Yeah.
Right. So there's that.
So good job.
I know. Amazing. I just just sitting here as we're recording, and I see myself, and I a lot of times I'm looking at myself, I'm like, wow, look at that smile, look at those eyes, look how you're glowing, look how, like, I'm acknowledging myself, even though I'm having a conversation with you in the audience, that I am seeing myself on my own camera on my laptop, and I'm just like, sometimes it's just amazing and blown away, like, wow, look at me go, type of thing.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that's what I want for other people to do, is be able to look in the mirror and go, wow, I am so proud of you, and look at you go, you're showing up so well. and so good. And I love you so much. And just imagine yourself saying that in front of a mirror every day and really connecting with that. That's what matters.
Yeah.
So,
Awesome.
all right. Any final words, sister?
Have a great week. That's it. Just be simple. Right? Take your time. Be now.
Enjoy it. Enjoy the journey.
Every moment of everything and everybody that's around you.
Because even in the hard things, there's gratitude.
100%.
You gotta acknowledge it, but it's there and you can do it. So, all right, my friend. Thank you so much for hanging out with us. Tea Time with Amy and Bev. Remember, if you got anything beneficial from this, you think it's going to help other people, then please share it. Please share the videos, the content, have the conversations, however it works for you. We appreciate you, your time, your energy, because you could have been doing anything else, but you chose to hang out with us. So with that, we appreciate you. We love you, and we will see you next time.
Yep. See you next week.
See you later.